That's about right, yes, for its landfall in the Bradenton area, which is just south of Tampa Bay. And we'll start to see impacts here really ramping up. Believe it or not, I know it looks like it's ramped up, but it's going to really ramp up between 2 a.m. and about 8 a.m. with a boatload of rain, unfortunately leading to a lot of flooding. TJ and I were just looking at this. I've got to show you this. The tornado threat is rapidly ramping up. So while we've had kind of a showery morning, we've got a tornado outbreak right now in progress across South Florida, thanks to the outer bands of Milton, which right now is located about 130 miles from its landfall location in Bradenton. Again, set to get there in about 9 to 10 hours from now, which would place it around midnight. And to the south here in Indian River County, there's now a confirmed tornado warning. And so if this continues its track, it'll enter Brevard and southeastern Osceola counties inside of the next half an hour. So we're going to watch that very carefully for you, where we're going to just break into programming and we'll be with you until the threat passes. And unfortunately, we're going to see tornadoes through the afternoon, and there could be a lot of them out ahead of the main push of the system itself. So, you know, we're focusing here on this inner band. This is the eye wall, which is going to bring us flooding rain after midnight tonight. It's going to weaken as it comes ashore. As far as the system itself, right now it's still a Cat 4 with winds of 145 miles per hour, but it's starting to encounter wind shear from the southwest as it approaches the cold front to the north. So you can see all the clouds are kind of getting pushed that way, and that'll eventually weaken it to a Cat 3 as it makes its way ashore. Now, it's still going to have with it a major storm surge, unfortunately, especially south of the track with up to 15 feet of storm surge. It'll be a really, really bad situation here all the way down through Fort Myers. Tampa may escape the worst with a flow out of the bay based on this track, but as it moves inland, it will weaken to a Cat 1, so we'll catch sustained winds of anywhere from 30 to 50 or so miles per hour at night, in the middle of the night, probably from like 2 or 3 in the morning onward till 8 or 9 in the morning. But we'll have wind gusts up to 70, maybe 80 miles per hour at times. More so, a huge amount of rain falling on the north side of this thing. So the rain we're getting now is saturating the ground, and we're already seeing puddling and some flooding around. But when the actual core comes through, that's when the heaviest rains will get here, and it could rain more than 4 inches per hour, causing flash flooding, inducing water rescues in some cases tonight, as well as unfortunately flooding entering homes and businesses in low-lying areas. This system is encountering a cold front to the north, which is going to start to transform it, but it's a little too little, a little too late. All right, the latest from our Fox Weather Alert System. We've got our confirmed tornado in Collier County and Hendry County in southwest Florida. Tornado warning for Martin County and St. Lucie County. That's the one we got to watch as it moves north toward Indian River County and Brevard County inside of the next hour. So that's the beginning of it, and we're going to continue to track this thing. The main impact is going to be flooding rains in the purple beginning after midnight today, making the roads hazardous. Here's TJ with the latest on our impacts.
Brooks, yeah, you mentioned the tornado threat. Now tornado watches for a good chunk of the Fox 35 viewing area through this evening, and what is happening to our south will eventually expand north as we see that twisting of the wind, that wind shear start to move our way with these outer bands lifting northbound around the center of circulation with Milton. So let's look at that. The ingredients in the atmosphere, not just the instability, but at least with usually tropical systems, it's that spin in the atmosphere, the twisting of the wind or that wind shear that Brooks was just talking about. That organizational wind can get that rotation in storms to really get going. And you want to look for the colors of orange, red, even that deeper red. That's that greater tornadic threat as we head into this evening. This is 7 p.m., so close to dinner time. Many of you may be sitting down and hopefully kind of hunkering down, listening to us as we continue to keep you updated around the clock here. We could have tornadoes just like we're seeing now expanding across our area, especially for our southern neighborhoods. And you can see even through 9 o'clock, those colors, the reds, the deeper shades of red, dark red, indicating that potential for rotating thunderstorms right through about 10 o'clock before we see some of those ingredients in the atmosphere, the dynamics at least somewhat fading away and not supportive as much for tornadic activity as we head deeper into the night as Milton closes in on the Florida Gulf Coast. Now, in terms of the worst of the weather from now through our Thursday, as Brooks hit on, the flooding rainfall, that's our big story. Could have amounts over a foot, maybe up to 1.5 feet in some localized spots. Hurricane force wind gusts possible around 75 miles per hour, if not a little higher in some localized areas as well. And then that tornadic threat, as we just hit on this afternoon into the evening. So be sure tonight to think of things like sleeping in a safe area, away from windows. Maybe bring a blow-up mattress into the center of the house, away from where you would normally sleep, getting away from, especially if you have any big trees in your yard, maybe you didn't get some of those limbs down that could be prone to coming down. You want to try to get away from those windows if you can. And of course, I know some of us, like emergency workers, employees that are necessary to be out and about, you know, that aside, you really want to stay off the roads if you can from 1 this morning through 8 a.m. because that's when the worst of the conditions are going to be unfolding here, the strongest of the wind, the blinding rain, and that's going to continue right into our Thursday morning, our typical Thursday morning commute. Now, as we look at the worst or strongest of the wind, at least arriving across central Florida and out to the west across the Florida Gulf Coast, around midnight, close to landfall there in the red, closer to 4 a.m., deeper into the night, kind of pre-dawn there in the orange, then closer to daybreak, 7 a.m. in our eastern counties on the east coast of Florida. So if you're up early, you may start to really feel that wind. You might hear some creaks, things that you might not normally hear in the house. So that's going to be our big story, the wind, the rain, the tornado threat there, Brooks, as we head through the rest of the day into our Thursday.
All right, TJ, thank you. Yeah, we got to focus on the tornado threat. Here's a live camera this is along the Florida Turnpike down in Indian River County, approaching St. Lucie County. Low clouds. There's a confirmed tornado within this cell. I can't see it on this specific camera, but this is one of 2 tornadoes as indicated by radar, which has prompted tornado warnings. We've got tornado watches, meaning conditions are not favorable, including Lake, Volusia, Seminole, Orange, Brevard, Osceola counties through 9 p.m. tonight. Let's show you the radar. While we've had just a lot of rain today, we are starting to see a lot of tornadoes now to our south. There's one tornado that is likely. Is this just issued? Bear with me right here. Okay, we got one in Polk County right now. We're going to zoom in here and take a look at this. So there's just some rain here, waves of rain with some flooding rain. No tornado warnings in our viewing area at this moment. But later on, we're going to see action from potentially this. This is Yeehaw Junction. We're right on the edge of Yeehaw Junction here. So this is the county line of Osceola County. This is Indian River County. And this is going to be, I believe, Eastern Highlands County. So we're just outside of our viewing area. But this is a confirmed tornado passing right over the turnpike right now, south of Yeehaw Junction, that'll be moving into Osceola County here inside of the next 15 minutes. And back toward the west, we're watching for radar-indicated tornadoes near Lake Wales and Haines City, which will be rotating northwest toward I-4 and remaining there in Polk County. But the storm in question, we got to watch very carefully here over the next half an hour, is going to be this confirmed tornado, which very well might result in a tornado warning for Osceola County as well as southwestern Brevard County in the next half hour. Ryan, let me toss it back to you, and we'll jump back in here if we need to go on for a warning.